Today, I want to talk about the top 10 Second Awaken unit for PvP after you are done making your farming team. So I will not talk about unit like Raok or Crow or Spectra because you should make them for your early game farming team. But we're going to focus on the PvP unit that you should be making after you're done all your farming team so that you can conquer guild content, arena, and RTA. This is in no particular order because I use them all the time every day in Siege and Arena. The first one is going to be Lulu and Friend, one of the most versatile healer and support in the game. I have my Lulu on speed, HP, and resistance. You want high res, you want tankiness, and that's all you care about. The left side artifact will depend on who I am fighting in the battle, and the right side artifact will have recovery in all the 3 skills. When I use Lulu in my 5-star offense team, this is the usual setup. We have a water damage dealer, so in this case, it will be water Holy Berry. It can also be the water Onimusha or Mouse or Theomas. It doesn't matter what you use, okay? And then we have Lulu to provide the healing for the team, and then a dedicated tank. It depends on whatever the enemy is using. So here we have a light defense breaker, which means the dark tank is going to take the defense break. And also because the other 2 units are water, the fire unit is going to go for the Diaz as well. And all the damage will be going on to Diaz. Lulu will try to keep Diaz alive, and the water damage dealer will do the damage. And because of this, Lulu is a very popular unit to use in high rank Siege as a main healer for our team. If I use Riley in this position, Riley will get targeted by Tessarian, and that would not be ideal. You want to have Lulu and another water unit so that the other element and the fire damage dealer, usually Tessarian, will go for your dedicated tank while you're trying to protect the dedicated tank with your Lulu. Riley or Fran will be bad in this position because what if the Tessarian switch the target to Riley? That would be bad because you don't want your healer to die. Medics need to stay alive in the battle. You know that from Naruto, right? So with this, my dedicated tank will take all the damage. It might die, but by that time, you should have killed one of the enemy target already. And after that, Lulu and whatever you're using should be able to kill the rest of the enemy team. Once again, here we have a light damage dealer / defense breaker. And we have a fire main damage dealer as well, which means everyone will be going for the dedicated tank and not Lulu. So Lulu will be free and not being CC, and she can do all the healing that she needs. Well, actually, Day is a Day Dam unit. So Day can do whatever healing they need to do, and then your damage dealer should start smashing on the enemy. So you can use Diomas, you can use Mouse, or the Holy Berry. I love using the Holy Berry because while they are attacking Diaz, my Holy Berry can have a chance to cut in between and do funny damage on the enemy, and I love it. And we all know the Windy Tractor Lulu that will demolish all of the enemy 4-star defense in the lower rank. You have a Lulu, you have a Tractor on some sort of very tanky build with additional damage by defense, and then you have a Windy on a Vile build, Destroy, and then you have additional damage by speed, and you will start ripping through all the old school 4-star defense very easily. Because this team is very hard to kill, they do a lot of damage, and they're very good at staying alive, and it's just absolutely incredible. You buff speed, you buff healing, and you just slowly but surely take down the enemy. Very hard to kill this team, and the stronger, faster, tankier your Lulu is, you don't even need to build Lulu that well anyway. You can have Lulu at plus 120 speed on Vile, and she provides healing once in a while, and you just slowly burn them down. It is incredibly strong. Seems like very boring to play, but hey, you need to get some win at the start, and this is an easy way to get it. Just slowly burn the enemy down with additional damage and destroy effect. So Kakano, Triana, all that stuff were destroyed by this team. That's why you don't see Kakano, Triana in high rank anymore, because Kakano will always hit Windy, and in the meantime, Windy will be kept alive by Lulu, and then Tractor will start punching down the Kakano, and there's nothing they can do about it. Another popular turn 2 offense team is going to be Kakano, Lulu, and Triana. Or if you're fancy, you put in Huadam the Light Towers to keep the team alive. Lulu will be healing, and Kakano will be doing the main damage. With 2 healers, Kakano can be built a little bit swishier and more on the damage output side. And Kakano should be popping heads with the damage coming out from the passive very quickly. And your other 2 healers should be built to keep your team alive. So let's try not to damage this guy because we have to hit him. Or we may not have to hit him. I'm not too sure. There's so many CC related or oriented defense nowadays with a lot of AoE stun. So Lulu is very good to counter that. Boom. And then you do a bit more damage, and that thing should go down very quickly as well. Bonk. Oh my god. Are we killing that? Are we killing that? Are we killing that? And after you kill the enemy main damage dealer, there's nothing stopping Kakano from wiping the floor with the rest of them. This team is also very, very popular against the Eshir turn 1 aggressive defense. Triana might die, but we should still be okay. Next up on the list, we have Lulu's sister or brother or cousin, Chacha and friends. This unit is also very popular in the Siege offense meta. My current build right now is also my favorite build on triple revenge, speed, HP, and HP. We have high res, we have some accuracy in there for the skill 3, and we have good tankiness and have minimal attack stat. Because the skill 3 will trade your attack stat with the enemy attack stat. So you will make them hit like wet noodle and you're gonna hit like a thick log of tree. And with triple revenge, whenever they attack you, you'll be revenging, healing yourself, and also shielding yourself with a very good shield. A very common Odin defense nowadays is going to be Chandra, Adriana, and Odin. And a very common counter team that you will see everybody use will be Kakano, Chacha, and Triana. Triana will be there to potentially take the Odin hit, so you want to build maximum HP with minus win in your artifact to survive if the Odin decides to hit Triana. This unit's here gonna be able to steal the Odin buff and also take the hit and also cleanse the Kakano if he gets stunned or oblivion by the enemy unit. And then Kakano will be the main damage dealer to kill the Odin as quickly as possible. So when you go in, you will let them do their thing. If the Odin hit any of the other unit, it doesn't really matter. If Odin hit the Triana, it should be able to survive. And that is pretty much it. You're gonna heal the Kakano. You can potentially go for the swap and take all that stat away. Look at that. That is so amazing. So now Odin should not do any real damage anymore. And why is my... I have the glancing thing, you know? And now we'll focus our damage onto the Odin. As much as... How does he... How I have the glancing thing, okay? Unbelievable. So, kill the Odin as quickly as possible, using your unit to keep the Kakano alive. And that is the play. And with how popular this defense is, the more you need Chacha in your roster. With my guildie building 5 Chacha, potentially, or even more. There are people who build so many. And the good thing about Kakano in this team is that the enemy Chandra Hug will mean absolutely nothing against Kakano. You kill that, you can pretty much auto because the other 2 units shouldn't do any real damage whatsoever. And with 2 healers on your side, if your Kakano is not made out of paper, then you should be able to stay alive because there's no defense break. So there's really no real damage coming out from the enemy. You just keep the Kakano alive and do damage on the enemy. Another common use for Chacha will be to tank light unit in general. For example, the light Beast Monk or Kinky or Narsha or whatever light thing over there that can defense break you. So this unit will be the target for all that light unit. And for this example, we have Sylvia going for the light unit, and then the light unit will go for Chacha. So my light tank will be Kinky. It can be Molly. It can be whatever light tank you're using. And then you run a damage dealer that will not get touched by the enemy. And this is probably one of the safest team you can use against the enemy team like this. So they'll be attacking your dedicated tank. Meanwhile, your damage dealer will be attacking their tank. Okay, I am going for the bomb over here. I'm going to stun that. The Sylvia Revenge doesn't really hurt me, so I don't have to care too much about that. So right now, you don't actually have to use this skill because that can also help to cleanse you. Oh, I misclicked. You don't have to use that, but you can. So you can save it and just skill 1 or skill 2 and use the skill 3 whenever you actually really need it. And the team will tank forever, pretty much. So if the Beast Monk managed to defense break the Chacha, I can return the defense break back to him or cleanse with a skill 2. So Lulu, I mean not Lulu, they all look the same, okay? You can use Chacha to just tank whatever light unit over there. With how popular Kinky is in lower rank Siege, I think you definitely need a Chacha in your roster. Amazing unit on Triple Revenge. Enough of the boring support unit, let's talk about damage dealer. So Khali is also amazing for PvP. There are 2 main ways to build your Khali, and the first build will be a typical speed crit damage attack build. So you want to do good damage, you want to crit all the time with max crit. The most popular team with Khali in it is going to be Garo, Khali, and Draco. The Draco will be on your best Swift set, whatever that may be. And then the Khali will be on a slower build on a high damage. And because I want to kill Laura in this setup, I will have damage on light in this set so that You can do the most damage on a unit I really want to kill. And lastly, we have Garo with the standard vampire build. With the better speed lead, I should be able to outspeed the enemy. And if I get attack buff, then the kill is confirmed. It's very simple. If I don't get attack buff, I still get 2 units that can kill the enemy Laura. And I can try to control the rest. And I should have this one in the bag because we still have defense break. And I have another round of buff coming out from the Khali. We kill the Garo. I mean, not the Garo, the Kakarno. We use the Garo to kill the Kakarno, and that is pretty much it. If you're fancy, I think you can go Vile Khali, and that's going to be even stronger if you Violent proc. But a usual Swift set is going to be more than enough. This team is very popular the moment you see the defense without much healing or no healing at all, and it doesn't have any strong water unit that can solo your entire draft. Then you go in, you look for the AoE stripper. So it can be Clara, it can be whatever thing. You kill that AoE stripper, and then you use your Garo to damage the rest. Garo is very good at surviving. Oh my god, I might be dying here. That's why Tessarian is so popular nowadays, because people rely on passive to try and win the fight. So Tessarian will really ruin your day when you're trying to run a unit with passive like Garo. But it is still really, really good. Very popular to use and relevant even to the high rank siege. This team right here. You see more Clara Savannah, you can definitely do that as well. You see Ciara Orion, you can also do that as well. You can kill Ciara and then, or you can kill the fire unit and then Garo can kill the Ciara after that. So very popular team, must build for many people. The second build for Khali that is also very popular is on your best Swift speed crit rate attack set, because Khali is now the buffer and not really the damage dealer. The damage dealer would be Miyang, utilizing the attack buff and speed buff, and also Taru with the high base speed and the free crit rate in the skill 3, so you don't need any crit rate buff, and Khali is perfect for that position. So if you know that the enemy is on Vile, you can outspeed with your Swift rune, then you go in with this. You have the artifact relevant for the damage you need to do. For example, if you are hitting Clara with your Miyang, you need damage bonus on fire. You kill the enemy Clara, and then if you are using this to kill the dark unit, you need to have damage on dark or light if you're using it to kill the Eshir, for example. And then you kill the enemy. Oh my goodness. We might be in trouble, haha. But it's okay. You know, happens from time to time. We're gonna heal the team and then finish off the Eshir potentially. So this team is also very good. If you're seeing Kakano Triana, you can use the Taru to move first to kill the enemy Triana, and then use the Miyang to kill the enemy Kakano. Or you can probably snipe through the Triana passive potentially as well, if your runes are good enough. So another very popular team for the Khali 2A. And this team can also be used against 5-star defenses. If there are no units that provide revive or Triana, any of the annoying stuff, you can try to go in. Let's say this team is very scary if you're taking turn 2, but if you outspeed them and you do damage, they will fall very quickly because they have no way to survive the one-shot damage. And this is also a very good team to use against 5-star tower if you have the runes for them. So that's why a lot of people build multiple dupes of the same 2A unit, because that is their playstyle. You switch rune from one team to another and you can compete in high-level siege with minimum rune build and just a couple different team. I mean, a couple of the same team that you have. What about Bruiser? Next up, we have Roid. This is like the free-to-play Wind Panda because he also defense break all the time and can perform very good damage while being tanky because his damage scale with max HP. The one way to use Roy, just like Wind Panda, is to use it with Leo. You have a Leo with 0 speed, so you can build Roy as slow as possible, but very tanky and can perform high damage. And there are so many Theomars defense out there. You can run a Lulu for healing. You can also build a Lulu with 0 speed as well, but I don't want to do that. You need to build a Lulu with 0 speed, okay? Remember that. And this position, Roy will be just like Wind Panda. He's going to go in here. He's going to weaken the enemy Theomars with his attack break, and he's going to perform damage. And remember, if you're using Roy in this setting, then you want Roy to have Destroy Rune because the fight might last a little longer than you want it to be. And with that, the Roy is going to be able to destroy the enemy HP while doing insane damage, okay? Roy can be built on crit damage, and his skill is going to crit like crazy. Watch. We're going to do not a lot of damage because that is Byung-chun, and Byung-chun is insane at tanking. But believe me, Roy against Theomars, you saw how fast the Theomars melted? That is the power of Roy right there. And also, Roy can keep the enemy locked on him. So while he's being a Giga Chat doing insane damage, he can also tank and protect your team at the same time. And this fight is going to take 20 more centuries, so we don't have to watch that. But Roy is amazing in this position. So you see any Theomas and you have a Leo because you chose it in the event via the suggestion of the community. Slap a Roy down, the Roy will keep the Theomas locked on him. And if you're lucky with the Violent proc, the Roy can provide attack break for the Theomas and it will never hurt you. And that is an amazing feeling. This is for the poor people with down Fangyan. But you do have a Leo. You may have 2 Leo, 3 Leo, or you have multiple Leo but only 1 Fangyan. Then this will be your free-to-play Fangyan that will do just as good. You can also run like a triple HP Roy, make him so fat it doesn't really matter, and use it as a raw tank. Look at that, how tanky he is and how much damage he's doing on that Theomas. And with the attack break, Theomas not going to do any damage whatsoever. And if you're on destroy, the rest of the team will fall very quickly as well. And GG, look at that. And now we just hit an auto button and start doing damage on the enemy Byung-chon. Last time I forgot to bring Destroy on Roy and he didn't destroy fast enough and that was a problem. But now with Destroy rune, he's pretty much perfect against this funny enemy right here. And when you want to use it against 4-star tower that doesn't have a Kakano in it, okay, never use Roy against Kakano. He will die. So you can use Roy here with the Triana to keep it alive and the Rakuni to give Roy the speed that he need. Meanwhile, Roy can still be built on a crit damage build or a speed HP build. So here I go with speed crit damage HP and I want him to be my main damage dealer, but speed HP is fine too. If you can have high crit rate on Roy, that would be amazing. And this team used to be super popular when Miyang Shiglet was very popular in G3. Now, not so much. You don't see me using this anymore because Miyang Shiglet is not as popular anymore. But I think in the lower rank, I noticed that there are still many old meta defense, which mean this team can still be used. I'm sure about it. Because when there's no fire, then you can use Roy. And Roy will be absolutely incredible at doing damage and keeping the enemy locked down. Oh my god, my guildies rune are amazing. So here, right, you see that the series is going for the enemy, my Rakuni. You lock down the series and Rakuni is safe. So Roy is not only good at doing damage, but keeping your team alive. And you just keep doing that until you find an opening to kill. I would say in this position, I'll kill the series first because that is the unit that will put slow debuff on me, and slow debuff is absolutely scary when you have to deal with it. Oh my goodness, the annoying thing. So after you kill that, the rest of them shouldn't do any damage to you anymore. Next up on my list is another bruiser. We have Jultan, my recent favorite bruiser in the game. Jultan is amazing at tanking. The reflect damage is incredible. He has defense break, stun, and heal block. An amazing all-rounder tank in each offense. One of the most popular offense teams is going to be Jultan, Windy, and Rakuni. So Jultan will be the main tank in this position, making Windy the main damage dealer. So you can actually build Windy on a speed crit damage and HP build with high crit rate, and that's going to be your main damage. And Rakuni is going to be responsible for healing Jultan. If you don't have more Rakuni, you can use Lulu or Tetra. They're all amazing as well. But Rakuni is just a 3-star, so you can skill up and build more of Rakuni without much problem. So you go in, Jultan's going to take the damage from the enemy. Potentially, if there's any light defense break over there, that's going to be even more amazing. And Jultan will also provide the defense break on the enemy team as well. And with the defense break, you kill the enemy faster. And this team, for a moment, just replace the, what do you call that? Tractor Windy Lulu for almost every 4-star defense, because it allows you to kill the enemy team faster. And that is amazing, because when you take too long to kill the enemy team, then they will out violent proc you, and that is very troublesome. But with this team, and Windy being on the damage build, and with the setup defense break come out from Jultan like this, you will kill the enemy very, very quickly, allowing your team to win more consistently. And also, every time that thing revenge, I get free shield coming out from the Windy, and that will allow Jultan to tank even faster. So this team is like the new Tractor Windy Lulu, but less boring, because you're doing way more damage, and Jultan's cool. So I love using this team. I haven't used Tractor Windy Lulu in a long time, because if I ever need like a turn 2 team, I will usually go with this. or I use a more specific counterplay instead of just spamming Tractor Windy Lulu. And this is one of my favorite team for a while. And with the rise of the Dark Series Eshir water meta, I'm using a lot more Jultan as well to tank the enemy water and Eshir. Meanwhile, once again, Windy will be the main damage dealer, and we have the Triana to keep the team alive. So because we have double wind and dark, the enemy water unit will mainly go for Jultan. And if they build any real damage on those units, then the Jultan is going to reflect a lot of damage. Also doing a lot of reflect on the enemy Eshir at the same time as well. So looking at that, Jultan just tanking everything while potentially revenging and leaving defense break on them. And look at that. I haven't taken a turn and do any real damage yet, and they are kind of almost dead already. Especially Eshir, who crits all the time on my Jultan. He's going to take a lot of damage. And more damage on you. Eshir going in, and we're still alive, and we kill the enemy water unit with Windy. Windy is amazing at doing damage if you allow Windy to be built with crit damage because of the speed buff and the crit rate buff. Crits all the time, doing amazing damage. Definitely need to try the damage Windy, okay? Look at this. Look at that incredible damage. All right, enough about Siege content. What about Arena? So this guy right here used to be the PvE monster only. But now I'm using him daily in Arena Rush. Not Rush. I don't rush every day. My build right now for him is double shield wheel because he doesn't need Vigor or Despair. His speed, HP, and HP. I try to have high res and high accuracy. Also, no extra crit rate because we don't want him to crit the Camilla randomly. And we all know how popular this kind of defense are nowadays, and they don't die easily to your cleave, but they will die very quickly to dot damage. And this guy double the dot damage, making them die even faster. And he also provides heal block for the Camilla. Then you just have to prepare more dot damage, also with HP lead, and they're all built with high res. And lastly, a unit that can make your dot damage go even faster. So you go in with your high res build. Mostly arena defense units are not built with good accuracy anyway. They are built to stay alive, not to land debuff. So they don't really do much to you. And then you just return fire. If you use a Galleon cleave, your Galleon will disappoint you. But it is really hard to miss the debuff with this many debuff. So now you just have to wait for the fruit to drop and enjoy the sweetness of your labor. Look at that. They die so quickly, and their healing don't matter because their HP is heavily destroyed, or they have heal block from the Sath, and there's really nothing much they can do about it. See how fast they fall? Even Camilla will fall very quickly. So the best way to deal with Camilla is actually to use fire unit because you don't crit on her at all, and you go straight for her HP, her life point. It's like going straight for the Yu-Gi-Oh person life point. And I'm not joking. I rushed arena with that team and I got ranked 26 previous week. So that is not a meme team. That is a real team. And you can also do the same thing in Siege content. If you find a defense that are very tanky, hard to cleave, but will die to dots, then feel free to just drop by and drop some dots on their head, and there's nothing they can do about it. Oh wait, my setup is a little bit weird. Sorry about that. But I don't really use this team because there are not many chances to use this team in this rank. But I believe in your rank, you will find some defense that are focused on being very tanky, but not really focused on dealing with dots because nobody prepared themselves to deal with dots, okay? Dots are like taking a shit in the middle of the day after you drink your coffee. It happens. You don't prepare for it, and you just gonna fall to the dots. You can still use your Sath in the TOA content, but I don't think you need me to teach you to do TOA, okay? It's very simple. The next one on the list will be Bulldozer or Copper, or you should build them both anyway. They do the same thing, but different element, so I will lump them into the same category. The single target ignore defense that based on defense. They don't really change much with their second awaken, but they do more damage. So I recommend building them on Vile. You can still build full damage, but if you Violent proc, your cooldown will get shorter, and that's pretty amazing. So here's my Copper on a Violent build. I rarely use him, but I've seen my guildie use him once in a while. This is also a double snipe team, so when you look at an enemy defense, if you can snipe something comfortably with Copper, you put your best Swift set on Immensity, and Copper will one-shot that target. Meanwhile, the Miyang should one-shot the other target. And then you'll be left with one person, you have healing, and you're very tanky. But the problem in this team is that the buff only benefit Copper, and the speed lead is here to allow Immensity to buff him more comfortably. We're gonna one-shot, let's say, this unit. The Miyang can do very good damage, but here you don't benefit from any of the buff from the team. So your Miyang to be very stacked, and you should kill, or if you don't kill, then maybe the follow-up damage can kill. But it's gonna be a little bit tricky because you don't do the damage that you usually do with your Miyang. Even though my Miyang is on a full damage build, it doesn't do that much damage anyway. But still, if you can snipe 2 targets with this, or if you can snipe 1 target and then the team of the enemy is gonna be bad, then this is an amazing team to utilize your copper. Copper is so big, I can't even click on the enemy Nikki. And also, it doesn't matter how strong your copper is, okay? Don't copper the yellow guy. It'll be very, very risky. Can I do that? Barely, but very risky. The moment that yellow guy has some sort of minus win and artifact, it will survive and you will be fucked, okay? Copper something else and use something else to kill Byung-chun. Don't copper Byung-chun. There are some defense that look like they're on Swift Rune, but they might be on Violence because they want to build their defense to trap Leo user. So if you watch your friend replay and realize that, hey, they are all on Vile and you can outspeed with this guy, then you should go in and copper. So the main threat of this defense is going to be the Kiki. You go in, you drop the hammer right on the Kiki face. You can actually build your copper faster and potentially weaker. I mean, not weaker. Hit less hard, but they're faster. So you can actually use copper as a normal bruiser unit, and violent proc and stun and defense break can actually be very, very useful. Because without Kiki, this defense is no longer threatening, and you can easily take them down very quickly. If you get a violent proc with copper, the skill one can do insane damage. So don't be afraid to just snipe with copper. You can still snipe with copper nowadays if you know what you're doing. Another unit that you should build is going to be Eshir. This guy is more on defense, and you can also use him in RTA on your best Swift set. But in guild content, he's more of a defense unit and not really an offense unit, because the attack bar boost here is not exactly amazing, only 15%, even though you have attack speed in it. There are 2 main kind of defense nowadays with the Eshir. You have Clara, Eshir, X. X can be a unit that do damage, dot, defense break, and our guild most successful defense with Eshir is going to be Clara, Eshir, X. Your Eshir can be on Vile, your Eshir can be on Swift. You can switch between Swift and Vile to trap the enemy, and the same can go for the Clara and the other unit as well. A different variation will be Dark Series, Eshir, and a water unit to do damage. So we are seeing the water cannon girl or water vampire or whatever water thing you want to put in. But for offense, you definitely want to put your Eshir on your best Swift set so that he'll provide the attack bar boost turn 1. And that is usually paired with Galleon for the speed lead and the attack buff and the defense break. And then a follow-up damage dealer. If that damage dealer can scale with speed, that is also amazing. If it can scale with a... Oh my, that is a problem. You see right there, the attack bar gain of Julie was very little because attack bar boost of Eshir is not exactly amazing. So we got cut, and that is the weakness of Eshir. That's why I don't really use Eshir in the offense team. I use Bernard more because Bernard actually boosts 30% attack bar. So the attack bar gain of Bernard is going to be better. So I don't really use Eshir for offense that much, but he's a very good unit on defense. But that doesn't mean I don't have a team for it. You just have to use units that have higher base speed so that you can tune them to your Eshir better. For example, the Light Samurai, which I think will be available via the Horde of Heroes. So he has higher base speed, and he will probably move after Eshir all the time, easier. You can also build your Light Samurai on a Swift set so that the speed you gain will be even more. And oh, let's see if I can cut this Eshir on Swift as well. We cut him, and you can cleave. That's pretty much it. Just use it with higher base speed unit or speed scaling damage dealer. You can also replace that with a Shimite, the Wind Stealth guy, and he's going to do amazing damage as well. So Eshir is probably one of the only 2-way unit that is still relevant in RTA nowadays. Unfortunately, RTA is very 5-star heavy, but he's very popular because he provides the turn 1 with the high base speed, the boost, the speed buff, and a lot of RTA units have artifacts that scale additional damage by speed, especially Ethna. So Eshir allows you to go first, allow you to do more damage, and Eshir himself is also a great damage dealer potentially because the skill 3 can do very, very good damage. So after you go first, you have to rely on your CC, your cooldown reduction, your stun, whatever, to use the Eshir to its maximum potential. As you can see right here, the Eshir allowed the Ethna to go first, and then Ethna stun the enemy Veronica, stopping her from controlling the entire team over here. And Eshir is still doing decent damage. And after a couple turns, Eshir will have healing and a speed boost once again. A very popular unit for turn 1 CC team, for Bruiser Calm. Even works really well with unit like Cigar, Fire Monkey, and all that stuff for turn 2 team. So very good unit overall, pair with your Velajul or Wusa for immunity, because Eshir doesn't buff immunity. So when you go first and you pair with immunity unit or stun unit, Eshir is gonna be an amazing asset for your team. Next up on the list will be Miho. With the rise of Byung-chun on defense everywhere, I think this unit is making a comeback, especially in guild content. Because in this kind of team setup where you put your best Swift set on the Madeline Cookie, and you know that the enemy Clara is not on Swift, on Vigor or Despair for example, to get outspeed, you use a unit like Khali, but I'm using Bethany for variety here. You can use Khali to move after the Madeline Cookie. You one-shot whatever things over there and you let Miho do the rest. That's pretty much it, because Clara will not have the damage to kill Miho quickly, and Clara will have to focus on the win unit over there first. Meanwhile, Miho is going to take hella a lot of attack bar and take down your Clara. And after the Clara is down, the Byung-chun will die to Miho 10 out of 10 times. There's no way that that fat guy over there is ever going to win this little kitty over here. It is just impossible for him to win because he crit all the time. So while being very hard to one-shot, he has no way to kill Miho. So if you can build a team around Miho so that Miho will take care of the Byung-chun, you will never lose to a Byung-chun once again. And with how popular he is, I think Miho is going to be very popular once again. This is the team that my guild are using against many other Byung defense already, and it's working out amazingly. There are also many Kakarno Byung defense out there, and you know there's not going to be any swift threat from the enemy. So you go in, you take care of the Kakarno, and I think that is pretty much it. Because whatever left, if you know they're going to crit Miho all the time, like let's say a Narsha, very scary unit, or a Perna, it is not going to be a problem because Miho will just slap on them till no end. And once again, when it's a 1v1 between Byung and Miho, it is never going to be a fair fight because Miho is going to win 100% of the time. There's no way that that unit is going to miss a crit out of nowhere because it crits all the time. You don't even need Destroy Rune to beat the Byung at this point because you are just doing way too much damage on him. But so far, that's the only legit use case for Miho. But hey, there might be more because that is a very funny unit. You might be surprised that I don't talk about certain unit like Elucia, who used to be very popular back when the meta made her very, very strong. But now I find myself not using this unit ever. Like, I don't use this unit at all whatsoever because she is not required in any of the meta offense team. And the main water unit I use, that is going to be Miyang, and I don't use Elucia anymore. So she doesn't have runes on her that much, and I never really find a case to use her. But then in your lower rank in Siege, you might find a place for her because she's a very good control and healer, but it's just that the meta doesn't require her anymore. The same applies to Vigor. He's not really in any meta offense team. He pop up on defense once in a while, but because he's a water unit, finding a way to control his AI is not that difficult. So we haven't been seeing a lot of Vigor in defense and offense. And more or less Tractor as well. I'm not too sure about this guy though. I think a lot of tryhards still rely on Tractor a lot because it is a slow way but sure way to win. I personally don't like using him that much anymore, and I haven't been using my Tractor for a long time because most of the defenses doesn't require him. You don't really need him to beat them, and using him to beat those defenses take a long time, and that's not fun for video content at all. I think Tractor is still really good, but you don't have to rush to build him. Or maybe the low rank where he defeat a lot of Kakarno defense, I think he is still a very solid unit against Kakarno, but personally, I don't really use him anymore. You can still use him with the Windy and Lulu against many Kakarno defense that you still find out there, but personally, not a huge fan of Tractor. And that's pretty much it. For the last unit in the top 10, you can use whatever the hell you want. I'll show you guys all the 2A unit I've made so far. I made them because I actually use them. If I don't 2A them, which means I don't really use them or I don't really have a use for them. Are they bad? Maybe. If you have fun using them, go for it. Who cares about my opinion anyway, right? If you have fun, that is all that matter. So That is my top 10 two-way for PvP. Let me know in the comment section down below what is your favorite two-way for PvP. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.